Hello, students, and welcome back to class. I want to commend you all on the way that you're showing your work on these fraction problems. Showing your work the proper way is the key to success now and in the future. Keep up that good work. In this video, we'll work on adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing mixed numbers. These problems start with mixed numbers. We change them to improper fractions, complete the work, then switch them back into mixed numbers. Here comes number 1. Let's change these two mixed numbers into improper fractions. We keep the denominator, then 5 times 4 plus 1. Keep the denominator, 1 times 3 plus 2. Now we need a common denominator when we add fractions. Since 4 and 3 are consecutive numbers, I know I can just multiply them together to get a common denominator. Now build the numerators. What do you multiply times 4 to get 12? Is 3. And what do you multiply times 3 to get 12? That's 4. Keep that common denominator and add the numerators. Now change it back into a mixed number. Keep the common denominator. How many times does 12 go into 83? It goes in 6 times. 6 times 12 is 72, and 72 from 83, that's 11. Got it. When we subtract with mixed numbers, again, step 1, change them into improper fractions. Keep the denominator, and 4 times 2 plus 1. 1 times 10 plus 7. Now we need common denominators. Well, we could multiply 2 times 10 and use 20. But I'd like these denominators to be as small as possible. So I'll notice that 2 divides evenly into 10. When the small denominator divides evenly into the big denominator, that tells me that the big denominator is a good common denominator. Now for the numerators. What do you multiply times 2 to get 10? And what do you multiply times 10 to get itself? Now keep the common denominator and subtract the numerators. 45 minus 17, 28. That's a good answer. Although I notice that it reduces. Let's divide by 2 and divide by 2. That's even better. Now change it into a mixed number. Keep the common denominator. How many times does 5 go into 14? With 4 left over. It's a lot of work from here to here, but that's how I want you to show your work. Write the problem down, change it into an improper fraction, get common denominators, do the computation, change it back into a mixed number. This time we're subtracting with a whole number and a mixed number. Let's make the whole number look like a fraction by putting it over 1. Then we'll change the mixed number into an improper fraction. 5 times 4 plus 1. When we subtract, we need common denominators. I notice that the small denominator divides evenly into the big denominator. So the big denominator is a good common denominator. Now, what do you multiply times 1 to get 4? Is 4. And what do you multiply times 4 to get itself? Is 1. We'll keep the common denominator, subtract the numerators, then change this improper fraction back into a mixed number. How many times does 4 go into 7? 1 time with 3 left over. To multiply or divide, we again first change all fractions into improper. We'll copy the 3/10 and change 3 3/4 into an improper fraction. 3 times 4 plus 3. Now, when we multiply, we do not need common denominators. We do reduce. Never reduce side to side, only tops and bottoms. I notice the 10 and the 15 are both divisible by 5. Again, never reduce side to side, only tops and bottoms. Now multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms, and if your answer is an improper fraction, let's change it back into a mixed number. How many times does 8 go into 9? Once, with 1 left over. There's the way to show your work. Change into improper fractions, do the computation, change it back into a mixed number. For number 5, let's change the improper fraction into a mixed number. 1 times 5 plus 1. We'll copy the 9/10. Now change division into multiplication by taking the reciprocal of the second fraction. All right, now look for things that reduce. Never side to side, only tops and bottoms. I'm seeing the 5 and the 10. Divide by 5, divide by 5. 6 and 9 also reduces. Divide by 3 and divide by 3. Now multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms, and if your final answer is an improper fraction, change it into a mixed number. 3 goes into 4 1 time with 1 left over. Here we're dividing with a whole number and a mixed number. Let's make the whole number look like a fraction by putting it over 1. Change the mixed number into an improper fraction. 1 times 11 plus 1. Now change division into multiplication by taking the reciprocal of the second fraction. Look for tops and bottoms that reduce. I'm seeing the 6 and the 12. Divide by 6, divide by 6. Now multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and if your final answer is an improper fraction, let's change it into a mixed number. 2 goes into 11 5 times with 1 left over. All right, time for you to do some homework. Work hard, show your work just this way. I'll see you later on today.